Right, YouTube, it's Shadow King Kinazru, and we gotta do a serious talk. So, wasn't sure I was wanted to do this because we just got some positive info with Final Fantasy VII Remake's demo coming out yesterday, and um, the full game going gold, which means everything's done. They put it on a master disc, and they'll be downloading it into a retail disc for the games to be sold to the customers next month. But there's been some issues with the fan base. Now, I'm sure you've probably met some people, whether it's the Final Fantasy VII remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, or whatever video game remake, where there's a group of people that just completely bash on a remake, mostly because it's a remake. They don't matter. It doesn't matter if it's done by the same people who made the original. Doesn't matter if they respect the source material and they understand it well enough, and they try to improve it. If they add anything new, they'll just complain and complain and complain, and make even the tiniest nitpicks. Such is the case with people like Michael Does Life, constantly complaining about the Resident Evil 3 remake because it's not his vision of what a Resident Evil 3 remake should be. He basically just wants it to be the Resident Evil 3 game with better graphics and maybe some slight alterations, but that's being generous on that last part. And just complains and complains and complains about everything that goes on that's wrong in the remake. He doesn't take into account that most of the stuff was done months, if not over a year earlier. And this is not an example of the fine product. If you're going to be complaining, at least do it up on the final product. So far, I think the Resident Evil 3 remake looks great. And you got the same thing with people like fuck Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, there was someone who was that petty that they named their channel Fuck Final Fantasy VII Remake. I really wish I was joking about that. I mean, I know they changed the channel's name, but that was still stupid and petty. Mostly because of the same reasons. It's not what their vision of what the Final Fantasy VII Remake is. They just wanted the same gameplay, the same dialogue, just the same game with better graphics. No other improvements whatsoever. You guys don't understand that most of these older games, although I love them, have not aged well compared to modern games now. And especially Final Fantasy VII Remake, as it had translations error. Remember the scorpion tail when the original game it tells you to hit the scorpion while its tail is up? You're not supposed to do that. If you attack it, it'll counterattack you. And that's been a running gag for years. And there was other things like President Shinra showing up where Avalanche was in the second reactor they tried to blow up. Creates a giant plot hole. As if Barrett shot President Shinra, most of their problems would be over with. I mean, it doesn't make any sense why Barrett wouldn't shoot him, considering how hot-headed he is, or why President Shinra will even be there and risk his own life. And the remake is fixing that. Now President Shinra is talking to him through a hologram, and we're getting so much things that are going to be included. And what really bothers me about these people is that they have this very elitist mentality. They say that if you like these remakes, you're just some stupid millennial who didn't grow up with these games, have no idea what they're about, and you are not a true Resident Evil 3 or Final Fantasy or whatever remake fan. Are you joking me? Are you freaking joking me? You paint-sniffing clowns. Do you not realize that these games were made in the late 90s? Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 3 would have mostly people who were late Gen Xers to early millennials. People who grew up in the 80s and 90s. And here's another thought. What if they didn't grow up with the game when it came out? That was been around for over 20 years. They could have researched the source material, done everything about these characters and played the games several dozens of times to learn every nook and cranny about these games and these characters. Does that not make them a fan because they didn't grow up with it? Does that not make them a fan by your standards? In that case, screw you! You don't get to say what makes them a fan or not. That's not your call to make. If they like the game, they like these characters, and they're that passionate for the series, that makes them a fan. You don't spread your elitist mentality. It's not wanted. So, people, don't be like these people. People trying to play a gatekeeper with the fans. Saying that, oh, if you like these remakes, you're not a real fan of Resident Evil 3 or Final Fantasy 7 or whatever. And that is fact. You should probably buy these games out of spite. Just to show these people that you're going to support this series because you love it. Because you are a fan of these games. Alright, those are all my thoughts. I'll catch you guys later. Buy these games. And screw you, Michael Does Life, and fuck Final Fantasy VII Remake.